Good evening, everyone. Today is April 25th. The time is 6 p.m. and this is the Acushnet Planning Board. This meeting is being recorded for future viewing on the Acushnet YouTube channel. I think we're on the cable channel right now. And we are also live via Zoom. Can I get a motion to open the planning board meeting?
Motion to open the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can we please introduce ourselves?
Peter Guyam, a member.
Mark Francois, Chairman.
Brian Deschamps, member.
Thank you. All right, let's get some minutes out of the way. Gentlemen, Paul emailed you the minutes from March 21st. We were all in attendance for that meeting. Do you have any comments, questions, concerns?
I have none.
Yeah, I mean, I read through them. It was both of these meetings were very quick meetings. I don't have any issues or comments for any of these. Can I get a motion to approve the March 21st, 2024 meeting minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes on March 21st, 2024.
We got a motion?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, next are the meeting minutes from April 4th. The three of us were in attendance. Rick Ellis was not, and he's not here tonight anyways. This is also a really quick meeting. This meeting was to kind of vote in the secretary clerk, Brian here. Relatively simple and self-explanatory. Can I get a motion?
I make a motion to accept the minutes from April 4th, 2024.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, moving right along. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing portion of this meeting?
I make a motion to open the public hearing on the stormwater management bylaw.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Fabulous. This meeting is being held in accordance with Chapter 40A, Section 5, to consider the following warrant. To see if the town will vote to delete all present language of Article 9 Stormwater Management Bylaw of the Town of Acushnet, General Bylaws, and replacing said article in its entirety with new language. The accompanying documents are available for inspection at the Town Clerk's Office, Parting Ways Building, 130 Main Street, first floor, during regular business hours. Okay, gentlemen. Just a little background on this. I had a meeting with all department heads, so the chairman of conservation, Ryan Resendes, the chairman of the board of health, David DeVignan, the building inspector, Andy Babola, and myself all had a Zoom meeting to discuss the stormwater bylaw. We went over it literally word for word, sentence for sentence. We did make a few changes, which I guess I can note some of those changes. You all have a copy, you both have a copy, right? Well, what you see highlighted, so basically page 3, We added we added certified professional in erosion and sediment control, CPESC, excuse me. On page 7, we added that the Stormwater Authority is the town of Acushnet, the Town Conservation Commission, or its authorized agent, as outlined in section 4A. And I'm gonna, Ryan, I see you're out there. If there's anything that you want to comment on, please just feel free to interject whenever you wish. Moving on to page 8, there was a couple of places that we wanted, because you know that we've been having issues with our solar fields, and we wanted to make sure that it was well written in here that solar fields didn't apply for waivers, solar fields didn't get any kind of exemptions or anything of that nature. So just to kind of cover the town's butt regarding the solar fields, regarding stormwater. So you'll see in here that we added a lot of stormwater authority, wait a minute, where is it? It just highlights the solar fields. Section 4A states the Stormwater Authority shall administer, implement, and enforce this bylaw. Any duties imposed on the Stormwater Authority may be delegated in writing by the Stormwater Authority to its employees or its agent. And again, you'll see we added number 4 where it says not involving any permits associated with large-scale ground-mounted solar photovoltaic installations. We also, if you move to page 9, letter B right up there on the top, it originally was to have one public hearing regarding any changes. The following approval at the 2 public hearings. The proposed regulations must be approved at a public meeting of the Acushnet Select Board before becoming officially adopted by the town. So if we make any changes to this, there has to be 2 public hearings before it gets adopted and gets sent to the Board of Selectmen. Before it was 1, we added 2. Another thing
Mark, that's, sorry to interrupt.
No,
That's
please.
The regulations.
Excuse me?
The 2 public hearings are for the regulations.
Okay, perfect.
Any regulations imposed by the Stormwater Authority would require 2 public meetings before adoption and approval by the selectmen.
Gotcha.
So this bylaw sets the ground, the ground rules for stormwater, and then Kevin McHugh has a copy of regulations that correlate with this, and we'll have 2 public hearings to adopt them, make changes, whatever it may be.
Gotcha.
So it's not the bylaw, it's the regulations, the 2 meetings, but sorry to interrupt.
No, please do, and thanks for the clarification. We also added that any action by the agent must be ratified by the Stormwater Authority within 15 days, or such action shall be considered null and void. So basically what we all agreed upon was that no one person should be king. So it has to go in front of the board, and the board has to vote, the Conservation Board has to vote on it. So it's, unanimous vote. Let's see. There wasn't much more. I'm gonna come back to page 14. There was a small change to the minimum design criteria. On the very last page, page 17, section 2, minimum design criteria. Basically, in a nutshell, I think if it's, all right, the minimum the minimum depth of the seasonal water table, bedrock and/or impermeable layer for 2 feet from the bottom of the basin instead of 4 feet. We took out the 4 feet, and that is for 5 lots or less. That for all large-scale solar-mounted photovoltaics, all new construction and industrial, commercial, and/or subdivisions with 5 lots or greater. The minimum depth of the seasonal high water table, bedrock, and/or impermeable layer is 4 feet. So if it's just a small subdivision with 3 or 4 houses, you only have to go 2 feet above water table. Where if it's a commercial or a big subdivision, you gotta go 4 feet above groundwater. Now, Ryan, I'm glad you're on, because remember when we were all together, we kind of had a question regarding, it was Article 3, it was page 14, Article 3, Stormwater Management and Land Disturbance. There was this, and this was written by Kevin McHugh. We read this and we kind of had, we wanted clarification on this, which any activity that will disturb an area less than 40,000 square feet. Wait, let me rewind that. The following articles are exempt from the provisions of Section A. Number 1, any activity that will disturb an area less than 40,000 square feet. This exemption may not be applied for continuous properties held in common ownership that may have been previously subdivided and/or attributed to multiple separate owners. So we were kind of up in the air. Ryan, I actually was on the phone with Selectman Gaspar today, and he went back and spoke to Kevin McHugh. I was hoping Kevin was going to be on tonight, but I don't see Kevin McHugh.
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, there he is.
Sorry about that, on my son's computer.
No, I'm glad you were here. I was just about to read the latest version of, all right, so in a nutshell, we didn't want anybody that was applying for an A&R, a small 60,000 square foot lot. If an average resident was applying for an A&R lot and happened to go over the 10, no, not over the 10,000 square feet. It's, all right, so picture this, and excuse me for not being totally clear, but picture this. You own a lot, and now you want to cut off a couple of lots for your kids, for them to build houses. We don't think that that person should be obligated to hit stormwater, even though 2 lots combined are might be over the 40,000 square feet. You follow?
Okay.
So we want to try to make it to where it's 3 lots or greater. So if a contractor comes in and wants to put in, say, 3, 4, 5, 6 A&R lots, which in Acushnet's going to be rare because to have that much on a main road is difficult, then that person would have to apply for the stormwater. Mr. McHugh, is that kind of the gist of it?
Yeah, that's basically it. That's sort of the way it was explained to me too, is that there's, concerns with, like you said, with property owners who want to try to subdivide, for family housing or whatever it is. So yeah, that's essentially, that's the way you described it, the way I understood it.
Right, okay, thank you. We didn't want a developer to be able to just come in and put in, let's say, 5 A&Rs because it happens to be on a public road and not have to go through stormwater. Because when you put in 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 A&Rs, house lots side by side by side, that's going to change the topography, that's going to change the run of the water. So then we wanted to make sure we got the contractor that was coming in to put in a lot of house lots, but yet we didn't want to penalize the average citizen that might have a decent sized lot, that might want to cut off a lot or 2 for their family members, and then they're going to be obligated to go through the stormwater process, which is an expensive and costly process. So, Ryan, any questions on that, Ryan? I know, remember when we were together, we were kind of curious about this, and I know I haven't spoken to you about this yet because it just came in front of me about an hour ago. Any questions on it or concerns? What are your thoughts?
No, I mean, this same wording was in our original bylaw that, that's been in place. I don't mind the language, so I know there was other people with issues with it, so I could kind of go either way, I think it's a protection for the town, and if it is the case of, a family breaking off a little parcel for, we do have the waiver, so.
That was gonna be.
That's my whole thing. That's the exact language that's in our current bylaw, and it was just added to this one. There was a couple things that, that were omitted from this bylaw that were in our previous bylaw, like the, creating, impervious, surface of more than, 10,000 square feet. That was omitted. I think we added that. So I think, I don't really have an issue with it, That's kind of where I stand on it.
Okay, all right, yeah. Like I said, I was going back and forth with the select board today, and Mr. McHugh, if there is an issue, we can grant waivers, or we or the Conservation Commission can grant waivers to, say, family members or like ownership, correct?
Yes, there is a waiver provision in the bylaw, so it does give you the option, or give the designated authority, which, you're right, is the Conservation Commission at this point. It does give them the ability to grant a waiver. Primarily, that waiver is used because you don't want to have someone who's doing a development who also needs to comply with the Conservation Commission, comply with the Wetland Protection Act, also have to file for stormwater management permit, because they're basically, essentially the same thing. So that's really what the waiver is written for, but you do have the waivers in it that you could have them apply also to something like this, to the subdivision of land. Especially if it's a small lot that isn't going to be, that wouldn't potentially cause problems to the environment, you would have the ability to issue a waiver from this permit requirement.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Well,
And again, in a nutshell, that's, this was a lot taken from the original. We made a few tweaks here and there, but like I said, the department heads were all involved. Conservation, planning, Board of Health, and building, and everybody came to, and with the help of Mr. McHugh here, I think we have a pretty good bylaw here. Any questions from anybody, comments, concerns?
None from me.
Anybody in Zoom or here in the audience that wants to discuss anything to do with the stormwater management bylaw? Okay, well. Is there a motion to recommend this article to the Board of Selectmen for the spring town meeting?
I make a recommendation that I send it over to the selectmen.
We have a motion to send this over to the Selectmen. Can I get
I will second that.
we got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Mr. McHugh, thank you for attending. I appreciate your help on this matter. And Ryan, thank you.
thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Kevin.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right, guys, have a good night.
You too.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving right along. All right, is there a motion to close the public hearing portion of this meeting?
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
I will second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Discussions and other topics. Robinson Road Solar Project construction work hours. So, as you all know, that Robinson Road project is well underway. The proponent is asked to extend the contractor's work hours on Saturday from 8 to 12 to 8 to 4. The special permit requires that 8 to 12, they can only work from 8 to 12 on Saturdays. I guess they're trying to wrap this up as quick as they can. They want to work a few more hours on Saturday. We have to approve. Do you gentlemen have comments or concerns on that?
I have none.
As far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't want it started any earlier, obviously, especially on a Saturday. And to allow them to go from 12 to 4, I don't think is out of the question. The only question I have for you guys is, how long do we allow this to happen? Do we give them 2 weeks, 3 weeks? What do we give them?
How far are they into the project? How much longer do they have before the project's completed?
I don't know. I wish somebody was here to answer that, but they're not. So why don't we just put a timeline on it? Let's give them
Let's give them 4 weeks. I don't know.
I-
Not knowing how far we're into the project.
I agree. Let's give them 4 weeks, and then after
Is this a
4
solar project?
This is a solar project, yes.
They're way into it.
Yeah, I know it's quite.
It's quite into it, but
Yeah.
They still could, yeah, they could be 2 months away, we don't.
Right.
So why don't we just give them, well, it's up to you, but we can make a motion to give them 4 weeks from this weekend, starting this weekend. And then if they need more, they can come back and ask for more.
For a couple of days. I'll make a motion that we allow for 4 weeks for Robinson Road Solar Project. They can go change their hours on Saturdays from 8 to 12 to 8 to 4.
We have a motion,
I get second that.
and we all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. I'll have Paul notify them that they can start this weekend from 8 to 4, and they have 4 weekends. And until then if they don't finish by then, they can come back and ask for more. And if there is no issues with that, which nobody has complained so far, we'll go 4 weeks. Next, we have Robinson Road Solar Project screening. Since the construction has begun and a butter has come forward questioning the project's screening, the butter has notified the planning board that they will be attending at the meeting. Okay, so this started before I was on the board. This project came in front of this board before I was on this board. But a little bit of history. In the first half of 2021, there was a public hearing that was held for this special permit. At the June 3rd, 2021 public hearing, the board made a motion to issue the special permit for this project. At the April 20th, 2023 meeting, it was agreed that additional screening was going to be needed for this project. At the May 25th, 2023 meeting, the proponent showed the additional requested screening that the board had required. The proponent explained how the method of assuring that the growth and periodic review. I brought a set of plans just so I can kind of give everybody an idea of how many trees they're actually going to put up. So all these circles all the way around, this is Robinson Road, this is Cushing Lane, and this is the back half that I think abuts the butter. So what had happened with me, and I'll talk to you personally, what had happened since I'd been on the board, they were approved to cut down some more, they had come in requesting to cut down some more trees, which is on the, I'm not sure if this is the west side or what side it is. So this is Robinson Road, Cushing Lane.
Yes, the
This is your
That's
west side.
Yep.
So they had came in and asked to have permission to cut a few more trees on the west side. We had given them permission to cut down a few more trees on the west side. Then we went out there, and I personally went out there and noticed that not only did they cut trees on the west side, but they cut trees along this border as
South
well,
side.
the south side, more than I had wanted. We called them in and told them that, you know, we shouldn't have cut down all those trees, but they did it because that's where the sun comes in on the south, and they wanted more solar on their, more sun on their solar.
Yeah, but some of them were on my side.
Excuse me?
They cut on my side of the stone
They,
wall.
they cut on your side of the wall? I wasn't
They did.
aware of that. I wasn't aware of that. We did tell them to plant more trees. So, I'm not even gonna start to try to pronounce the names of these trees, but there's 20 of these trees that get a height of, an average height of 25 feet. There's 21 of these white spruce that get an average height of 30 feet, 15 feet wide. There's 21 of green giants, also 25 feet in height, 15 feet wide. There's 77 of these mountain laurels that get to an 8-foot height with an 8-foot width. And there's 73 of these roseberry rhododendrons, which get to 8 feet high, 8 feet width. So there's a couple of hundred trees that we had requested that they put in. When these are all in, and there will be a cash surety in place before they complete, to make sure that none of these die and they all
Grow.
grow and survive, and we hold on to that for a couple of years and replace any that do. With that being said, please, if there's anything that I haven't answered for you, please go up to the podium, introduce yourself, your name and address, and ask whatever question you may have, and I will try to answer it.
I'm not good at podiums.
You can sit right there, just give
I
me your name and
just want to know
address.
for the record that we wouldn't even be here if we were
You have to
notified.
give your
in the
name and
first
address,
place.
so.
Kathleen Massey, first house on the lane.
Kathleen
I'm
Massey,
the big
first
top,
house
yes.
on the lane.
First house on the right,
I
correct?
am,
Going up Cushing Lane.
yes, I
Yep.
just jump over the fence and I'm in the solar farm.
Yep.
But we wouldn't even be here if we were notified of this whole project. We would have nipped it in the bud a long time ago.
Again, I wasn't here when this first happened,
Do
but
they usually notify?
they, when it's a public hearing, they have to put it in the paper, and they have to send notifications. I think it's 300 feet
300 feet.
around the entire site, every abutter, with a certified letter, and there are green cards that we get that show that the letter was delivered.
That's what was missing. And I understand, the past, but that's
It
what was
happens.
missing.
Yeah, it does happen. We try, as a board, we try to make sure that we don't do anything until we get those green cards in our hands. Again, I can't speak to it because I wasn't here back in '21, so I can't tell you what happened and didn't happen. What I can say is, before this gets their final approval, we will go out for inspection. The inspector, which is the building inspector, is the final inspection before he gives the final approval. I'll make sure that the trees are adequate. Now, are these trees gonna replace the 60-foot pines that got taken down? No, they're not. And unfortunately, they're down and we can't put them back. But we can make sure that the trees that they do put in, especially the ones closest to your house here, are the 25-foot trees that will.
At maturity, that's the 25-foot. First of all.
At maturity,
Yeah,
right.
right. So, my name is David Von Jess, and I'm the next house over, 15 Cushing Lane. So, the first thing is just to be able to be acknowledged that the notification process didn't go the way the protocol would have it go. It's just, have it acknowledged. Okay, we're not changing the past, obviously, right? I don't live in the world that tells somebody else what they should and shouldn't do on their property. They're paying the taxes on it, they have the right to do what they want to do on it. You know, if they get approval, no problem. The shock part of not knowing was when you look at all of the other solar fields in town, at least that I noticed, except the ones that are set way back, you know, some of the fields that are set, you know, but the ones that are against the road, especially like at the golf, you know, where the driving ranges, there's a privacy fence that goes around them. So you're not staring at the structure,
Right.
right? That, you know, it's a little, especially on the, you know, Robinson Road is 105. It's like, it's just a state road. There's a lot of people that travel that road.
It is.
And it is like obnoxious for the town to be looking at that. Now, I get, because I'm in the world of horticulture, they're putting a lot of plant material in, and
Yeah.
I'm thankful for that, okay? Personally, I'm thankful for that. But that's 10 years away, because, you know, they're 3 to 4 foot when it comes to the roadies and the, right? and
We've
they're-
required them
they're
to use
five-
bigger trees than now,
they're
right
five-
from the get-go.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're 5-footers when it comes to the spruces and the green giant arborvitaes. The green giant arborvitaes, after 3 years, will grow almost a foot a year, after 3 years. So in 10 years, they'll be 16 feet tall, no problem. You know that from, you know, Keith's Tree Farm, right? The size, when you drive by, you can see the size of the, right, like that. So, no problem. The spruces are like 3 to 5 inches a year. And yeah, they get to 30 feet, okay, in 30 years, you know, in 35 years, like that. So it was, the question was, is there any privacy, like anything that actually block the hard structure of the, you know,
Well,
it sounds like not, but
So
that's what the concern was, at least from me.
yeah.
Me too, so
what I-
is there any way they can put a fence on our side of the field? If they don't want to fence in the whole thing, can they just fence where we are?
Well, the whole thing will be fenced in, but
The whole-
it'll be
yeah.
chain link
It's
fence.
fenced in with a 6x6 open,
We saw it.
right, an open deer fence.
Right.
That's what it's for,
Yeah.
okay?
But
So when you look at it from Kathy's property or from my house, and I'm looking, you know, we're looking both straight right at it, all we have is the structure, the metal structure and the panels. They just, it's like, it's just, you know,
it's just there.
it's a shock going from,
I mean, even if they were
Trying to find.
allowed to just put a privacy fence on our side, I mean, the other side we can deal with, but right there, I mean, is that doable?
You're after this?
He's right behind me.
yeah, but I sit back, so we're both,
Both.
You're staring right
Gotcha,
at it.
Gotcha.
I mean, I've got this much to go to get into that solar field from here to here.
I was wondering, what I can say is, I don't know. I don't know if I can go back
Yeah,
and
it's
tell
respect
them
Well-
to change what's already been approved.
But I'm thinking there's gotta be some kind of loophole in there, seeing as how we were never notified, because that would have been the first thing we would have told you guys, is just put up a fence. We're good with the solar field. I'd like it better than houses. But there's gotta be something there. I might not be here in 10 years.
Looked at the green cards.
I need a fence.
To know what was sent out. Is there any way to look at that?
Yes, there is. And Paul's has been looking into it. So what happened, when Doug, our town planner, was here, they did like the office was getting over cluttered from many, many years of plans and many, many years of paperwork, many, many years of a lot of stuff. The file cabinets were overflowed, everything was overflowed. So what they did is they basically went into the file cabinets, they went into everything, and they said, okay, we're gonna go back about 4 or 5 years, we're gonna keep that, and then anything that's 4 or 5 years older gets put in a box, goes into the basement. So we had to clean out the office. Those green cards might be in those boxes.
Gotcha.
Because they're not in the office. Paul looked and they're not in the office. So I'm gonna have Paul and,
you're trying to verify the size of the plant material?
no, I'm trying to verify that you got notified.
I never.
Oh, they can get notified.
maybe
did
you
not.
didn't get the card, but the letter still went to your house. That's what,
Wouldn't
I
we
don't
have had
know.
to sign it? Was there anything to sign?
It's a certified letter, somebody would have had to sign for it. Somebody
Nothing.
in that
I got nothing,
location. Okay,
I swear.
I'll look into that. That's one section. The second thing I'll look into is whether I can go back to the proponent and ask them to change the fencing on this back half. Because this has already been approved.
Yeah.
So to go back and tell them they have to do something on something that we've already approved, I don't know if we can do that.
But he
But-
can leave that, just add something to the front of it.
You just want a
I
privacy
just-
fence.
I just,
You want a white.
he can leave what he
you
has
want a-
there, that's fine.
They
with
make,
me.
here's the thing, well, I'll say it this way, I'm a contractor as well, so I don't expect you can have them go backwards, okay? Because
Right.
approval's approval. That's why people come to get approvals, and they get stipulations and, you know, they'll follow the dot, you know, cross the dot. you know.
Yep.
The plant material, the size of it isn't normal for a commercial planting, right? You would call for 3 to 4 foot rhodies and, you know, 4 foot azaleas or whatever, you know, and 5 to 6 foot, when it came to, you know, the evergreens. It would be no bigger than that. You wouldn't, otherwise the
They're
cost would be off the chart, right? They gotta be able to buy it, so.
They're required for the eastern red cedars, they're required to be 6 to 7 feet when planted.
Yeah.
The spruces are required to be 5 to 6 feet.
Yeah, they are.
The green giants are required to be 6 to 7 feet.
Well,
And the mountain laurels and the rose bay are between 4 and 5 feet when planted.
Yeah.
And then they say what their average maturity height will be down the line.
It's kind of a, whether they are or whether they're not, you know, you're talking, it's just.
I
it's a
totally
dead
understand. So
conversation.
let me.
So the question is
let me-
this, let me finish and then.
Sure.
It's possible that there's an easy way, they make, for the fence that they put up, which is a 6x6 grid, right? So they make a,
It's like a.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it weaves in between.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
what I was
yeah,
gonna
well,
bring
You know
up.
what I'm talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah.
And it just breaks up the, you know, it's not a full privacy fence like you have, you know, a
Right.
wooden thing where
Yep.
it's like big money. But it would at least allow it, okay?
I-
You know,
I-
so it'd be broken.
Yeah,
Second question to that was for me, is if they were refusal to that, if they were like, no, we don't need to because we got an approvals and we're, you know, we're doing what you know, we got approved for, like, oh, okay, we're not looking for, maybe, you know, okay? Can I put it up? After they're all done? Can I go get the vinyl and weave it and put it up?
yeah, I wouldn't want you to do that. Not that I wouldn't want you to do it, I wouldn't want you to have to.
You don't,
Do
well,
that.
that's
Let
how the
me
question,
just-
if
Yeah,
they
well,
did not, because they have the right, because they did their job. They, you know, they came in, they went through the process and all that stuff. It would still be of value for me to take a day with my guys and
We-
weave it. But I just can't walk over there and do that, you know?
I totally understand. Before,
That's the other question, and it's, you know,
I totally understand where you're coming from. Let me reach out to them.
yeah, just ask.
Let them know, because they're not aware. I wasn't aware. Let me make them aware that the abutters have issues with this back fence. We're not gonna ask them to do the entire.
Nope.
The
Yeah.
trees up front and the trees on the side will grow in.
Right.
We want some
Just
privacy on the back half that abut you guys. Let me reach out to them, let me tell them that we have issues, and I'll give them some options, and we'll see what they say.
Yeah, it's a reasonable, you know,
It's not
question.
it's not a unreasonable.
And if it's
question.
not, yes, and if it goes into no, you know, if we're not interested in fighting in court and all that, just
I don't
ask,
think they're gonna say.
can we put it up?
I don't think they're gonna say no.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna say no. We've gone round and round, it's like you're in business, one hand washes the other.
Yeah, I understand.
And we're gonna ask them for something, they come back and they ask us for stuff, and we ask them for stuff, and one hand washes the other. So, let me go to them, let me see what they say. I'll have an answer for you, maybe by next meeting, which is next Thursday. I'll have it on the agenda, and I will give you the answer.
Just reason, you know, it's reasonable.
It's not,
Well,
it's
absolutely.
not
We just get
unreasonable
whatever-
at all.
Whatever it is, we just wanna know what we can do.
Not unreasonable
Okay.
at all.
And it will probably last long enough until those trees grow to somewhere
That's
where
right.
it does the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have an answer for you by
Well,
next
the
meeting.
stipulation that we, because we were never invited, so.
And I'll try to get an answer for you regarding those green cards as well.
Okay.
Because since I've been trying to, when I became chairman of this board, I've been trying to do my best to make sure that all the Ts are crossed and all the Is are dotted. I want to make sure that, in the past, I'm not gonna say negative things towards the previous board members or chairmen, but not, some things that maybe slipped through the cracks, let's just say that. So I'm trying to make it my, mission to try to make sure that less things fall through the cracks. And
We appreciate that.
it could have happened that, you weren't notified of the cards. I have a hard time believing that they weren't sent out, but I will look into that. But I'll have an
I've never
answer.
met
I'll have an
Mr.
answer
Mike
for
Bailey in
you.
my life.
I'll have an answer for you on the fence, hopefully by next Thursday.
I mean, we want to work
We'll
with
stay
you.
in
I'm
all the
quite sure they
reasonable
do.
and,
Yeah.
right? Like that. Well,
They don't need any more issues. They don't want, and that's a small expense for something of that
Yes,
magnitude.
right.
okay, thank you.
I'll have an answer for you next week.
Thank you.
You're very
Appreciate your
welcome.
time.
You're very welcome. Thank
Yep.
you.
Have a good night.
Thank you for being on the board, all of you.
Thank you. Well, let's move on. Current town planning, there is nothing. Long-range planning, there is nothing. Other business that have come in the last 48 hours, there is nothing. Our next meeting happens to be next Thursday, May 2nd. Gentlemen, anything else that you want to discuss or bring up while we're here?
Nothing.
If not, can I get a motion?
I make a motion to close the meeting.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a good night.